What is up? This is your LA in a minute. Today is March 31st, Cesar Chavez Day. So I'm here at Cesar Chavez Memorial Park in San Fernando to learn about and celebrate the life of one of the most impactful and influential figures in American history. And guess what? A lot of his work and impact came right here in Los Angeles. Let's get into it. Cesar Estrada Chavez was born to Mexican parents in Yuma, Arizona, March 31st, 1927. In 8th grade, he dropped out of school to help support his family by working in the fields as a migrant laborer. It was there that he learned about the hardships and adversities of working as a farm worker. In the 1930s, his family's homestead was foreclosed upon, and they joined thousands of others in moving to California during the Great Depression. In California, Chavez once again became a migrant farm worker. In 1946, Chavez enlisted in the U.S. Navy, where he served 2 years in the South Pacific in a segregated unit. When he returned, he met Helen Fabela, who he would eventually marry and have 8 children and 31 grandchildren with. In 1952, Chavez moved up to San Jose and was working in a lumber yard, where he became part of CSO, Community Service Organization, which was a Latino civil rights group. He worked hard to register new voters, fought discrimination both racially and economically, and within 10 years, he was the national director for the CSO. That position of national director for the CSO led Chavez to Los Angeles, most specifically Boyle Heights, where he and his family settled in 1959. In 1962, Chavez resigned from the CSO because some other members didn't support his efforts to form a farm workers union. So he took his life savings and moved up to Delano, where along with Dolores Huerta, he formed the National Farm Workers Association in 1962. Chavez knew the plight of the farm workers himself. He was a field worker for years. Terrible wages, less than 40 cents per hour, no unemployment insurance, and the irony that they put the food on the tables of America while the workers barely could put food on their own tables. Previous efforts to unionize farm workers had failed. The agricultural industry was just too strong, had too many resources, and had some certain people on their side to make sure that the unionization didn't happen. Inspired by the nonviolent protests of Gandhi, Chavez worked tirelessly around the San Joaquin and the Imperial Valleys to form a stronger union and recruit more members, while his wife Helen, now Chavez, worked in the fields. In 1965, Chavez helped the National Farm Workers Association organize a boycott against California grapes that lasted 5 years. He marched 300 plus miles from Delano to Sacramento and had a 25-day hunger strike to prove his point and the strength of his movement. The strike ended in 1970 with the farm workers and the growers reaching an agreement that allowed the farm workers to unionize, and they formed the United Farm Workers of America. Chavez never stopped fighting until his death in 1993, and we owe this man a debt of gratitude from Los Angeles and beyond. All right, LA, it's been a minute.